It's amazing being here. I'd like to share with you the practical realities of being an entrepreneur. And the realities are quite harsh. The vast majority of entrepreneurial startups fail. That's the reality of the situation. I don't want to bring you down with that thought. I just want to share that thought with you. That's where we find ourselves. I have the privilege of being a mentor to a number of companies. And as a mentor, my one job is to help that reality not affect them. I thought long and hard about my experience in the last 20 years in business, what's worked, what's not worked. We've heard many ideas, suggestions today. We've heard many people share their own experience and share some fantastic techniques and stories about some hugely successful individuals. But from my experience, there's a practical reality to our life. We all waking up each morning. We all go into our own business or the businesses we work for and we try to make a difference. But if you have your own business, you can become very focused on ensuring the business continues to operate, to ensuring your existing customers are kept happy, and to ensure that you keep the cash flowing through the business. But what can happen over a period of time is that becomes our world. And what we miss out on is the opportunity to make new connections, to find new clients, to open up new business opportunities. So I discussed this issue over the last 6 months with a number of business people all over the world. And the reality I reached is that we just all have to be more brave. I don't want to ask you to, take a military analogy, to go over the top first, take ludicrous risks, risk your life. For me, being brave is simply setting aside a small amount of time each day to focus on trying to establish new connections and win new business. But I don't want you to think about the end result, making a cold call, that dreadful thought, going to meet someone and trying to close out a deal. I just want you to take a few steps every day. Perhaps it'll take no more than 10 minutes. But if you do this every single day, you massively optimize the chance of your business being a success. So on day one, you use that 10 minutes to do some research. The research is to identify a selection of email addresses for individuals that you think could become your new customer. And you just put those email addresses in a list. You do no more. On the second day, you select 5 of those email addresses. No, don't select. Just choose the first 5 in the list. And you send those 5 individuals an email. You don't try to sell anything in that email. All you try to do is to tell the recipient something about what you do, something about a problem they may experience. And you send those 5 emails, and then you go back to your day job. The next day, you make 5 phone calls, and it has to be a phone call. This is the take action step. And those phone calls involve phoning up the 5 people you sent an email to the previous day and simply asking, did you receive my email? Again, you're not trying to sell anything. All you want to ask is, did you receive my email? What will then happen, and these are situations we see every day, is a conversation will develop. One of those 5 phone calls will result in a conversation which could lead to a meeting. And I've found in business, if you do that every single day, your business will be a success. It sounds glib, it sounds silly, it sounds far too easy. But it's not easy. It just requires you to focus for 10 minutes every day on opening up a new business opportunity. I'll give you some examples of where this has been successful. Today, we launched a new app. It's called the iCare app. It's an app which is used by people who've lost things or people or precious things. And it allows them to find the lost item. It's a very simple app. But prior to launching the app, we decided we had to build up a community. So we started sending these 5 emails a day to individuals that we thought were influencers in this area who might find it useful to use this app. And in 6 weeks, we built up 15,000 followers on Twitter. Those 15,000 followers today were informed that the app was now live and they're actively downloading it as we speak. A very simple technique, but one that worked. We also used this technique with We Are the Future. We Are the Future is a small, not-for-profit organization based out of a small country in Europe. We use some of the techniques you've talked about today. We use visualization. We used being brave. What we did was on the Sunday night, we made a list of 25 email addresses of chief execs of some of the largest companies on the planet. We got these email addresses from a website called CEO Email. So this website lists the email addresses for the chief executives of some of the largest companies in the world. What we then did was, on the Monday, I say we, I mean Bruce. Bruce sent 5 emails out to the individuals who were heads of those companies. Companies like British Petroleum, the Royal Bank of Scotland, all these enormous companies. Companies, for example, here, such as Apple, Techstars. Sent those emails, and then the next day attempted by telephone to make contact with those companies. Do you know what happened? We got meetings off the back of those. And off those meetings, we were able to set up a visit by 6 tiny fledgling Scottish companies to Silicon Valley. We got meetings with the like of Facebook, Google, Apple, I think every incubator that was on the go in San Francisco. 500 startups, Techstars. Now, the individual that made all that happen was Bruce Walker. Bruce was 19 at the time. He'd never been to America before. He didn't understand that you had some quite restrictive licensing laws for serving alcohol. But off the back of sending that information, sending those emails and making those phone calls, he got those meetings. It's as simple as that. So being brave isn't about going to knock down the wall and challenge the world. It's about doing something really, really simple. And I've mentioned this to several of you that I've met today. Take those few steps. Unless you run your business that every single day you're trying to make new connections, then it's incredibly difficult to grow that business. On the other hand, if you do make new connections every day, you're getting new ideas, new sources of revenue. Those sales pitches that sound old and tired, they don't sound old and tired to someone who's never heard them before. That person's excited, delighted to meet you. There's one other part with brave, and that's about emotion. We don't talk about emotion very much in business. But the emotions are what make us a human being. They're what differentiates us from everyone else. And when you release your emotions towards your customers, they love you. The reason they love you is because they know you care. You actually want to help that customer. We live in a world of cynicism. Businesses love young companies where the people release their emotions and just want to deliver a good service. They want to try. They want to win. So that's what I would ask. I would ask everyone to spend 10 minutes each day trying to win new business. I still do it, and it still works. It's been an incredible pleasure to be here today. The amount of effort that's gone into putting on an event like this, particularly the first event, is incredible. And I'd like you all to raise your hands and applaud the organizing team who've put this on. Well done, guys. So I think it's now time for my bed. But is there any questions or anything I can help with? Or does anyone disagree with me?
I suppose so. I'm a little bit confused about what you're looking to do.
Well, what we're looking to do is to try to really understand if the business that we're trying to build is appropriate for the market. And what we'd really like to do is to look on someone like yourself who's an industry leading figure, someone that the whole world looks up to, would really like to just have 5 minutes of your time in your very busy diary, just so that you could give us some advice. Would you be willing to meet us?
Absolutely.
There we go. Done. What we have to remember is that the majority of people that I coach are young, under the age of 25. They're typically trying to sell to larger, more established companies than them. But they don't have the experience to know what it's like to be in that large company. In my experience, the majority of people running large companies today are desperate for new ideas, innovative solutions. But when you're having that telephone call, there's no point saying, we have a cloud-based collaborative platform of multi-layered technology that does something with lots of acronyms in it. Because the person on the other end of the telephone will look like me, and I don't know what you're talking about. However, if you want to hear about my problems, I'm delighted to tell you them. And once you understand my problems, you can then change your proposition in such a way that you can help me understand what it is you do and what value there is.